Hey, this is Sam Quatch at Down Under Radio for the Health and Lifestyle Talk Show, plus Talking Deep. We're here today with my co-host, Lynn Quatch.
Hello.
How are you feeling there,
I'm
Lynn?
good, thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here.
Yes,
communicating.
Well, for our listeners, Lynn is not my sister.
No, I'm not.
No, she's she happens to have the same surname as me.
Yes, and we also share the same mother's maiden name as well.
That's right.
Which is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, well, a lot of creepy things. I mean, even you living on the same street.
Yeah, we lived on the same street for quite a while, and I did not know that about you.
Yeah. And maybe we were related in our ancestors.
Yeah, I'm sure
Maybe.
we are. I'm sure we are. We should get a DNA test. You know, do one of those. Like there's a trend going around these days where people are digging up their ancestry timeline. There's a name for it, but it's I don't have it. But like
family tree.
Yeah, there's that. That family tree thing that they can trace back your ancestors, right?
Yeah, to trace back your ancestors to find out like how much of you are the different ethnicities that you have in your DNA and your blood.
Yeah.
It's all in science, isn't it?
Well,
Yes.
I'd love to have a sister though, Lynn, and I would love it for you to be my sister.
Oh, that's very, very sweet of you.
Yeah, well, you can do the dishes for me.
No, that's not how it's going to go.
That's what sisters do, don't they?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Declined. Do you have a counter offer?
A counter offer.
Yes.
Okay, I can be the best brother that anyone can have.
Is that it?
Just being the best brother. That's it.
Do you have any testimonies to support that, to back that up?
That's not going to sell.
Hey, fine.
All right. Well, it's a great day today. We'll introduce our guest, shall we?
Yes.
Coming out of the Western Sydney, there is a group of young individuals who've been doing amazing things like holding events and raising money for charity. We are here with the founders of the group Make a Difference Foundation, also known as MAD. What a mad name that is.
Yes.
Welcome T. Har and Johnson.
Woo!
Thanks for having us.
To the studio.
Hello.
It's great to have you here, guys. And the name Make a Difference, it says it all. But T, what's MAD? What's Make a Difference?
Okay, so who we are and what we do. So Make a Difference, we started, 3 years ago now. And look, we're not some sort of organisation or nothing hip about that. We're just a really bunch of really, really good friends. And we all have our own full-time work. Some are self-employed, some are uni students, and there's about 8 of us. And so we have different lives when we go back home, but we share the same passion. And this passion really is just giving back to the community. It's working together to kind of, we try to filter what's the gap in the community, and then we focus on that every year. So there's not a particular niche. A lot of people, they ask us, what do you guys focus on? Like, are you about like the terminal illness children or whatnot? Like, no, not really.
So you find a need, and
we focus on that. Yeah, because look, what we aim for really is just to raise awareness, inspire the youth in our generation, inspire the people who like pretty much that are very similar to us. So we're just
so how did it all start?
So a few years ago, when I was on a kind of self-discovery journey kind of thing, did a few self-development courses, and one particular course was focused on creating some sort of project from nothing, and then giving back to the community. That was the sole purpose of this project. And I thought about, let's start in my workplace. Let's kind of have this. I called it I forgot what I called it, but the whole point of that project was to kind of like understand who your colleagues are, like kind of befriend your colleagues, as opposed to I know them in the uniform kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for me to kind of gain experience and kind of just have a bit of understanding, was I started going to some charity dinners.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it is. What I realize as well in our area is so many people are so giving. They're so giving, and And so and then I realised the organisers, they're mainly, you know, in a senior age. They do extraordinary, phenomenal things. They raise a lot of money, you know, week after week. I'm not talking about annually. I'm talking about, like, you've got different charity groups, you know, just raising funds for whatever the cause is.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, I see the same faces, which is awesome, but why can't our peers do it? Why can't, like, you know, people our age do it? So that's when I kind of picked up the phone call and pick up the phone, and I started calling some of my really good friends, and we all jumped on board.
Initiative.
Yeah, like, you know, but you know what they say, right? Oh, don't quote me on this. But Johnson's looking at me like, oh dear. Something about like a lot of minds together or something.
Yes. All great minds flock together.
Google it. Yeah, flock together. Yeah.
Well, I was speaking to you the other day, and I was amazed by some of your accomplishments.
Yes.
What were some of the events in the past that you've done?
So, can you just say that all over again?
Well, the different events that you had in the past. Yeah. What were some of them? I was quite amazed.
Oh, okay, so cool. So, one of, I guess, my proudest mad achievement would be our first event, purely because, you know, we had no idea what we were doing. Like, every corner that we turned, every person that we spoke to was always brand new and information, you know, and guided us. So our first event was held at Crystal Palace, just in Canley Heights, and you know, a lot of people doubted us, and that's fair enough to say, right? Because, you know, who's mad, and, you know, who's he, or what whoever, right? So a lot of people questioned us, just to kind of test the waters, just kind of be like, okay, are you really in it for, you know, the purpose or whatnot? And why should we support you? But let's just say, you know, the more that we got, we understood our cause, and the more that we kind of, you know, were put in front of these terminally ill children, and when we visited these hospitals, our purpose was stronger than ever. We were like, yes, we're going to make this happen. No doubts, no ifs, no buts about it. So let's just, so the marketing piece was, you know, challenging, because we're not marketers or anything like that, you know, but when we kind of enrolled the people that attended, the guests to attend, we were just very purposeful, very intentional and genuine.
Yeah.
Because we really want to help these hospitals out. So that night ended up having 600 guests.
Yeah.
And we raised...
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is, you know.
Yeah.
And
was that your first one?
this is our first event.
Wow.
Yes.
Turnout was actually like really big, really crazy.
Yeah. You know, I remember that night where the restaurant or the venue manager, she said, you know, at first she was like, oh, T, there's another venue just down the road which will fit about, you know, 300 people. Because this particular venue is very big, you know, they're known for their wedding receptions and whatnot. And I said, you know what, let's just try it out, and I'll let you know in like 3 weeks prior to the event, and if we need to reschedule change the location, then let's do that. That particular night, they had to wheel out another 3 tables. You know, it was so cool. Like, it was sold out. It was
I can
really
see
fun.
you have a lot of delight from recalling this event. It was really momentous for you.
Absolutely, because I remember how it started from an idea.
Yeah,
it started from a thought. You know,
yeah.
And from
I can
there,
really feel your energy now.
Yeah, so I am very, very proud of Mad and what we've achieved, because you know, it was really a massive growth in all of us.
Fantastic. And tell us about the result that came out of that night, that you and you mentioned you and your 8 friends.
Yep.
All of you, all the hard work that you put into it.
Yeah.
From memory, I believe you all worked hard for like a straight 3 to 4 months.
Oh, it was
to have it happen. Tell us about the results that came out of it.
So right before we announced how much to the guests, how much we've raised, we were outside of the actual, I don't know, ballroom place, and all of us did a little huddle. So yes, it was eight of the main guys, but we also, you know, involved a lot of our close friends as well. So it was about 20 of us huddling, because it was everyone's
20 people.
effort. Yeah, it was everyone's effort. we got friends coming in, ushering guests, and we all had our own responsibilities that night. Right, so they may not have been like the main 8 guys, but they were still part of MAD. So we're huddling, like kind of like just think of, I don't know, NRL or something like, yeah. And I was like, guys, we raised 21,000.
Wow,
and
21,000.
Yeah. 21 grand. And man, that was awesome. Like, it was, you look at every single person's face and all the challenges prior to the event, all like the disagreement, all of the misunderstanding, all of like
all the hard work and the perseverance and the adversity.
It all diminished just in those. Exactly.
Yeah.
And on that night as well, we had I don't know, like the main person in the how do you say it?
You mean like the director or the the spokesperson from the pediatric?
Yeah, well, he was actually the head of the pediatric ward in Fairfield.
So he was probably like the director.
Yeah, so he was there with his team, and man, when we announced it, they just jumped up, and because Fairfield Hospital and Children's Westmeads Hospital was who we sponsored or we donated to. They were our focus. So it was tremendous. So, Fairfield Hospital now have 3 heart monitors,
because of you guys.
Out of that event.
Because of you guys for the past 3 years.
Yes.
And we could only imagine the number of people that are benefiting from that.
Well, we'll hope so, yeah. Because prior to the event, and they only had 1 heart monitor. Mm-hmm. So, and my understanding is that, these guys, they were born in the Fairfield Hospital. So you can imagine for a long time, they only had this 1 heart monitor, which is quite sad. But that's the reality at the moment.
Wow. So just to give a little bit more insight to what the heart monitor does for the viewers, right?
Sure.
We wouldn't be asking you to give like a medical background on it, but like give us a sense of what difference does the heart monitor do exactly from what you know.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, for the viewers, so that they get like the real impact that you've contributed to that hospital in the pediatric department.
Look, I have no idea. It's just this. I'm really bad with descriptions.
She has no idea the kind of difference she made.
I just raised the money.
I made a difference, though. We definitely did.
Made a difference.
Yeah, we made that difference. Yeah.
How the machine works.
Wow,
it's up to the doctors.
And it's so humbling to know that even if you're not working in the medical field yourself, you can make that kind of impact.
Exactly. So I always say, if I can do it, guys, anybody can, because if you really know who the journey that I've come and whatnot, like you'll realize that if she can do it, I can definitely do it.
Wow.
The one thing that stuck with me when you were talking about the children from the children's hospital, and how they have a terminal illness, and they don't have long to live.
Yeah, well, the reality
is just their spirit is just amazing,
right.
Isn't it? Like, and we're here complaining about our daily lives.
Yeah.
And they are just living through that. But
and that's not to invalidate, our whinging or our complaints or nothing like that. But
no, not at all.
Yeah, but I remember, my first time visiting the Westmead Children's Hospital, I literally had to mentally prepare myself, because how I initially I imagined it was, I imagined it like prison, grey walls and just a very hopeless kind of environment and atmosphere. But when I got in there, every single corner of the walls were all splashes of colours. So
wow.
You got like blue, ocean blue, and then you've got, your nature. So it was,
it was alive.
Yeah, and I mentioned it to the nurse that was showing me around the hospital. I'm like, you guys have really, created something for these little ones. And she goes, and this is what really struck me, and this is the reality of it, is that she goes, the reality is some of these kids don't make it out of here, which is true.
That is quite heart-stopping for some of us to
really
hear.
Puts things into perspective.
It does, yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's why, when we started discovering these kind of things, it gave us more purpose to make this event, a successful event for these little ones.
Wow, amazing. We really want to acknowledge you for being like one of the many co-founders of the
Make
group,
a difference.
right? Of make the difference. And I'm also wondering, like Johnson, what was your experience in the whole project?
That particular project, I wasn't present. I was actually living in Melbourne, so I actually got on board from the last project we did. So that's why I'm actually pretty quiet about that first charity. I was
really humble because
I was there attending, but like in terms of like the build up and and the preparation, I was actually absent.
Why don't we talk about the latest project? Because I know when you walked in, we could. Sam, mentioned we could all tell that you were from like the athletic kind of background.
Well, my background's basketball, and we were trying to figure out an idea for what we can do for our next event. And, I've played basketball from when I was young to like now, so like that's always been my background.
How many years is that?
I probably started playing when I was like 14, and like I'm 26 now, so like that speaks for itself.
12 years.
I love basketball, and I haven't played since.
I love basketball
15 years.
Yeah,
because none of my friends play. Like, all they do is just drink.
Hey man, just get down to Cabramatta PCYC outdoor courts, man. Like that's where
I used to play there too.
That's where I started, and I still continue to go back there. Like that's my roots. But I we always think a lot. So I was just thinking, how can I contribute and like add value to this team that I'm newly committed to? So I was thinking
that's very thoughtful of you.
Just basketball. Well, that's something that's close to my heart, and like. I thought, like, why can't we use like a basketball sporting event and use that to create awareness for our next project? So that was our core, like what we held on to, like use a basketball event to use that to drive like positive change.
Wow.
And but then for a long time we were struggling to think of like what were we gonna raise awareness for. So it took us probably like 2 months until we figured out like what's the gap in our community, and that's for the homeless.
Yeah.
So that's
So that's the project for 2017.
That's the project for next week, actually.
For next week.
Okay. Can you give us details about that?
27th of May at Fairfield Youth Community Centre. So we're gonna have a 3-on-3 basketball comp.
Yeah, 3-on-3.
So we're just gonna have like just heaps of people. We're gonna have music, prizes. We're gonna have a food truck, so it's gonna be just a good day for the guys just to come in within the community and just like take part into this sporting event, but also like let them know like why we're doing this, and that's to create awareness in everyone that there are homeless people out there and they can really use our help, and that's whether it's just donating a little bit or just even.
Just saying hi,
or just being like able to see them when we walk,
wow,
through our daily lives,
because you can imagine throughout their whole day how invisible they feel. When everyone's just doing their own thing, living their own lives, and then there's this person just like waiting to just get away, for example. Because the reality really is it could be any of us. Like every time when I see a homeless, I'm like that could have been my brother, that could have been my sister, and...
Yes, T, we'll get into that. You spoke about the homeless.
Yep.
What was your experience like talking with the homeless? I mean, for many of us, we see a homeless person, we may donate, but we don't hang around and we don't chat with them.
Yeah.
So what did you find? What are some
of the research or the interactions that you had with the homeless people that you could share with the viewers here to, give perspective?
Yeah. Whenever I do a research, I always just get straight into the source. Like I'd jump straight into it and I'll do it, right? So there's been a few times where myself and a friend would go around the CBD area, and the last time I went, I bought like 20 cheeseburgers, and we just went around on George Street near Town Hall.
Wow.
And we just spent about 5-10 minutes to each homeless peeps. And, one thing, I think a lot of stigma around homeless people is that, they're there because they're there, or they chose that life, or, they've done something and,
it's their fault.
It's their fault, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. But every single homeless person that I spoke to, they all knew they screwed up. Every single one of them knew that, they didn't point fingers. They held themselves accountable. They took responsibility for it. And, it is a journey for them as well. It's a journey for them to, discover for themselves. But none of them ever said, oh, because my ex-wife did this, or my, my children.
None of them blamed anybody.
No. And if you put into perspective, right? Your colleagues, for example, you're like, oh my goodness, like, why are they like this? And this is, so empathy and just sincerity from these homeless people, you just realize that they are humans and they're so genuine.
Right.
Yeah.
I was watching this Facebook video, how the guy just came across the homeless guy and gave him a stash of some money.
Yeah.
And he went out. Yeah, he went and bought a few things.
Yeah.
And then the guy came back, and he just pretended to be on the phone and saying that he needed money, this and that, talking to someone else. And the homeless guy was listening, and he actually wanted to return all these things
I saw
get the
that
money.
one.
Yeah,
I saw the one. He actually did go back to the store and returned it and got a refund, and then gave it to him and said, you needed more than I do. I can live without the stuff that I bought, but you needed more than I do.
Yeah.
And did you remember what happened right after that?
I didn't say. No, the guy gave him more money.
Yeah, the guy actually said to him, you know what, I was actually just putting on a show and I wanted to see what you would do.
Him.
And now I'm actually going to give you more. So originally he gave him 100 and then he gave him another 900. So then he had 1,000. And the man literally broke down crying and hugged him. And I think they've continued that. So it became such a huge YouTube, it went viral. Great. Everybody found out about it.
Yeah.
And so he's created something new with the homeless man. I think the homeless man has a home now.
Oh, fantastic.
And a job as well. And this is from the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting, and we're going to get more into that. So
quickly, could you give us a bit more information about what's happening on the 27th? So where it is, when it is, and what we would expect to see you guys doing there. If you're going to be there, what are you going to be doing there?
I'm the mascot.
Yes.
So 27th of May, which is next Saturday. We're going to start the games at 1 o'clock. But we're already been taking registrations for teams for the last 2 months.
Yes.
So we're going to have games from 1 till 4:30. We're going to have a 3-point shootout, come for prizes. We're going to have a food truck, so there's going to be a lot of music, but just a very good environment, good vibe for the day, because that's what we're trying to generate.
Fantastic. And for some of the viewers here who are hearing this for the first time and they want to get involved, so where can you point them in the right direction?
If they've got Facebook, contact us on Facebook, Make a Difference Foundation. That's our Facebook page. So we take a lot of event information is on there.
Great.
And also that's where we take all our team registrations.
Oh, so they can register there if they want to be part of. Is it closed now or is it still open?
No, it's not closed. It's going to be open until they can even register on the day. So even if they struggle to find our page, just rock up on the day, and we're going to take on-site registration.
Yeah, and there are prizes to be won as well.
More than happy to for everyone to come along. There's no close-off date or anything like that.
Great. You don't have a team, we'll put you in a team.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you can go solo, and then you'll be put into a team.
Oh, no, we actually recommend to come in a team already.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't,
if you don't, then speak to us.
We can all be flexible about that.
I'm just going to wait. I'm going to find the tallest guy. To be taller than Johnson.
Yeah.
Even taller
Johnson's
than Johnson.
pretty tall.
That's going to be hard, I think.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
All right. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Tihar and Johnson. This is the Health and Lifestyle Talk Show. We are back with Tihar and Johnson from Make a Difference. Let's make a difference to the lives around us, not only through giving and charity, but also how we relate to one another. We are getting into the Talking Deep section of the show.
This is really exciting.
Yeah, it is. And T, we had an interesting discussion the other day, and I was intrigued by what you were saying.
Oh.
One of the things you were saying was
flattered.
There are no such thing as bad people.
Yeah.
Because essentially, we all have different values. Now, that's kind of a hard thing to grasp.
Okay.
Because if someone did something that we thought was bad, we tend to judge them, knowingly or unknowingly.
Yep.
So how could we see that there is no such thing as bad people?
How did you come up with that? I'm curious myself.
Oh, I don't know how I came up with it, but I mean, personally, I think everything is your own opinion, right? So, end of the day, what you say, what your views are, is your opinion. It's not Lynn's, it's not Sam's, it's not Johnson's. It's my opinion. So, if you don't agree with it, it just means that our values or our visions are just not aligned. It doesn't doesn't invalidate what my values are, nor does it invalidate yours.
It's more to do with how you perceive your reality.
Yes. So, and that's why I think that, there is really no one that's bad. I think one thing that we could, encourage more for our people is to be more empathetic towards each other.
Wow, that's a really strong message.
Yeah, because if two people have two different sets of values, the only thing to bring people together is to have empathy.
Yeah, to have empathy.
I think that's a really great point.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to agree with you, but just take a few moments to try and see where they're coming from. And if you still don't get it, you still don't agree with it or whatnot, then that's fine too. Yeah, I mean, life goes on.
Because everyone has a history.
Everyone has a history. Everyone has a journey.
Very true. Yeah.
From time to time, every time when I could be just walking on a normal road. I could just be walking on a normal road, and I would think to myself, you know what? 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, someone stood right here. Someone walked this path.
Yeah.
Which means 10 years ago, someone also walked this path. And then, if you keep on going back 20, 30 years, and every single person that's walked through on this road, they've all got their own stories. They've all got their own, challenges.
Yeah.
But they've also got their own, accomplishments. And if we could focus on everyone's accomplishments, strengths, we can celebrate it all together. Yeah.
Fantastic. I just want to elaborate on it a little bit more, because I'm sure like some of the viewers, this is a really huge topic, like the whole perception of what does it mean to be a good person, what does it mean to be a bad person, and some people out there might have different ideas about it. Like for example, like how would you? What about the kind of people who say that's like committed crimes, that's like done something that's perceived as bad and wrong in the community? How would you apply this there?
How I see it is this, right? So what you do in your life up until this moment, you've always thought that it was the right decision moving forward, correct?
Yes.
So everything that you've done, and if you were to reflect back and you go, oh my God, like I can't believe I did that. But still in that moment when you did do that thing, you believed that it was the right thing to do.
Yes.
So to say that, this person's a bad person, this person's a good person, I think it all comes down to your reflection on your actions. So if you've realised that you've done something that, you yourself is not very proud of, what are you going to do after that? Are you going to, what I mean?
No, you can't go into the past unless someone's managed to invent a time machine.
Yeah.
In which case they should call us and let us know.
Yeah.
But other than that.
But it's about how, what steps or actions have you taken to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Wow. So that gives.
Importantly is also what do you actually learn from the mistakes?
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as failures, it's just all lessons.
Yes.
Like people think like if they've been incarcerated or something or done something that's got them in jail or something, and it's like they can never come back from. No, that's wrong, because that will determine who they're going to be like after, like they learn the lesson or what they take out of it, and that's where they can improve on.
And don't get me wrong, like guys and listeners, like I am no Saint Teresa or anything like that. I'm not Mother Teresa. Like I guess I can say that my life up to now has been an absolute blessing. I have had pretty colourful history and background and whatnot, but.
Tell us a little bit about that, because obviously your views on life has been shaped by your experiences, and so tell us a little bit about yourself. You are you from Australia? Sorry, let me say that again. The way that I said that made it sound so stupid.
No. Yes, so I was born in Melbourne.
Yes.
Born and raised in Melbourne, and I moved to Sydney 6 years ago.
Yes.
So when I say my background is quite colourful, is that growing up, my parents separated when I was quite young. And I never really got along with Mum. I was raised by my dad, and I love him dearly. But now, like, it took ages, but I have an amazing, incredible relationship with my mother now. But it was never like that. It was never like that. We used to, you know, I mean, I was a terrible daughter. It was horrible. I used to call her all the names under the sun. I was just terrible, horrible. So therefore, moving to Sydney was not difficult for me whatsoever. It wasn't, because I had no baggages. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to up and go kind of thing. But it was all a blessing in disguise, because what I realised my move to Sydney, I no longer had any influences in my life, nor any distractions in my life. And I got to, you know, reinvent myself.
So that was around the same time that you said that you were on a journey of self-discovery?
No, that discovery came afterwards.
Okay.
When I moved to Sydney, it was just on hindsight. It was just like, yeah, let's just do it. You know, why not? I had nothing to lose. Why not? Was really the question. But and what I meant was a blessing in disguise, is that all the lessons that I've learned since then has really shaped me who I am right now.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into the next interesting point that you made.
Yeah, oops.
And that was, I think you guys just touched on it. There are no such thing as bad choices.
Yes.
And can you elaborate on that? Because I certainly need help in that. And I get quite hard on myself.
Bad choices.
Yeah, I mean, geez. You know, when you get really hard on yourself and you you kind of beat yourself over.
You're probably the only person in the world that has that.
Oh, geez, maybe that's true. That's why I need correcting.
No, I mean, I don't think there's ever like a, you know, good and bad choices or whatnot. There's definitely always a better one. So, I mean, and that's something that Dad always taught me when I was a kid. Like, I don't even remember anything. But out of all the teachings, I remember that one, which is quite interesting in itself. But he used to say, you know, there's never a right or wrong decision or a choice. It's just there's always a better one. So whenever you're, you know, going to take lead in your life, stick with it. You know, so if you go right, go right. Don't think about going left. And then just, you know, all the things will just happen, you know.
Well, that's a very wise man you've got.
What's worse than like making like a bad or right decision is not making a decision or like being indecisive.
Yeah.
Because that means you're not able to learn from it. You're not able to move forward from it.
Sometimes, things would force you to make that decision. You make that snap decision, right? And then you go, don't. Oh, no.
It's just like, for example, you know, you've got an assignment due. And you know it's going to be due in 2 weeks. But you leave it to like 2 days, and then in those 2 days, like, magic just happens. And, you know, right before your deadline, you're like, oh, I did it. But it's because, you know, you don't care what's in the way. You know what your focus is, and you just, like, it's momentum. You just go straight for it. Now, the question really is would I have produced a better assignment had I started a bit earlier? Possibly. So what's your lesson?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing in the book, it was written, feel the fear and do it anyway, where the author said that whether you took the wrong choice or you took the right choice, you're going to get the goodies in both choices.
Yeah.
So it either is going to be a learning lesson or it's going to work out fantastic. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Well, fantastic, guys. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with Make a Difference with Tihar and Johnson. Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Down Under Radio, a platform for community building. Hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. T and Johnson from Make a Difference will be holding a basketball challenge next Saturday on the 27th, 3-on-3, to raise money for the homeless, who I guess have different values than us, but nonetheless they are just as human as us, and we sure can lend them a hand. So, T,
yes,
what's your plans for Make a Difference from here?
What are my plans?
Or Johnson?
Look, like we're a really casual group. Like, we're just, like I said, we're just a bunch of really good friends and like just exchanging ideas and
Well, we do hold ourselves accountable to 2 events a year.
Yeah.
And if there's no event on, we're going to have meetings once a month. And when we do have events on, we have it once every fortnight, just so we can keep that energy going, flowing, because we can easily just be consumed in our own lives and forget about, an extracurricular activity that we're doing. So we told ourselves if we commit, we're going to do two events a year. So this is our first one, and we're going to try and do one later on in the year.
Right.
But in terms of plans of moving forward, or like what we're going to commit to is that's what we're discussing in our monthly or / weekly meetings. Yeah.
So for some of us who's hearing about you for the first time and we want to get involved, or we want to keep updated, you mentioned your Facebook group, right, with the events. So is it? How do people join? Do they apply for a membership? Do they just rock up?
Holla.
Holla? Okay.
Just holla.
Yeah, just reach out. If there's any ideas or stuff like that, T, she's always attending many local events and say radio shows or talk shows, talk events, TED Talks.
TED Talks.
TED Talks.
But
that's a goal.
And that's where she puts herself into the community where people are able to reach out.
Yeah. Look, every single one of our members have our strengths, and my strength really is just community presence. That's just how I get involved with the community and share and about MAD and whatnot. But whenever you see any of us, just hey, we heard about you guys, want to be part of it.
We don't do things just purely it's going to be MAD only. We're going to keep it organic and within ourselves. We affiliate with other people. Our last event was a seminar that was affiliated with a Wiseberry Foundation, which is a real estate. But the CEO was the person that's giving out the a 6 hour talk to people that's just lost and looking for direction, and that was a good turnout. So that was our last event. So we're not just
that's really fantastic. So you keep it completely open.
And we're very casual.
What kind of people are part of it? I know that you're young, but you're also accomplished as well.
Good looking.
There's a criteria. There's a criteria for that. I'm joking.
No, as long as as long as you'll find that you'll be passionate about giving back to the community.
Passion is important.
Passion about personal growth, to be honest. Because being part of something that is outside of your normal routine would actually challenge you to think outside the box or to think outside of yourself. And I think that's one thing that I'm learning every day, that why am I doing what I'm doing? Why does MAD exist? MAD doesn't exist because, it's about us. It's about the homeless guys. It's about Joshua in Liverpool. It's about Tina. Sorry, not Tina. It's about Linda, who I met the other day, and they're living it tough. It's about, Rick, who's, part of amazing things. It's about the little kid that's sitting in his hospital bed at the moment. You got to understand the why and then you'll find that you'll be passionate about it. But I think if we were to look about what our 8 members share, and we share really well, is that we do develop and grow ourselves. Either as individuals or as a team, but we always want to challenge ourselves, our mind,
Right. Well, one more time, the details for the basketball event. It's at the Fairfield Youth Centre.
Fairfield Community Youth Centre. So that's the new building next to the Fairfield Leisure Centre. 27th of May, Saturday, 1 o'clock. That's where we kick it off.
Price.
So there's going to be prizes, molten balls, Fitbits, Rebel Sports vouchers, free T-shirts, free entries.
The basketball, molten basketball.
Molten basketball. So
molten basketball. What's that?
It's just a brand of a basketball which is quite expensive. It's $130.
It's what the NBA.
Really?
But it's
the NBA.
They're actually great prizes. So worth the price for people to come and.
And these are all sponsored and donated from the local, the small local businesses within our area.
Yeah, they've helped us a lot.
Yeah,
they're the backbone. For
they
our
really
funding.
are. Yeah, they're the unsung heroes. So
and it's
fantastic.
$15 per
$15 per person,
and all proceeds go towards the homeless.
Yep.
And what do they need to do? Gather a team?
Of 3.
Get a team of 3.
Yep.
Yep.
And what are some of the details that you could provide here so that people could get in contact with you? So have you got an email? Have you got a Twitter account or a...
04. No, I'm joking.
We're open too. Just go for it.
I'm not.
We'll find you on Facebook.
Facebook.
More details on Facebook.
Very active on Facebook. That's our platform where we advertise and market a lot.
Yeah.
So it's Make a Difference Foundation on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Any shout out, guys?
Yeah, I want to shout out to the sponsors, yo.
Yo.
Sponsors.
So we got the Low Lounge, got Duo Tax.
Mega Fit.
Yes. Papa Rich Bankstown.
Fantastic.
We got
Canley Heights Bistro.
yes, Canley Heights, Yungli Fruit Shop from Canley Heights. So you'll see that they're all like local businesses. You've got Tang
delicious
Pharmacy,
too.
Canley Heights. And you know what? These guys, they're extraordinary. Like they don't necessarily usually attend the events, but they're always there driving and supporting us since day one, actually. So they're just tremendous. Got
Beautiful, guys. Beautiful.
Benjamin Penn solicitors.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know.
Fantastic.
I think what they really feed off is just seeing like young individuals just going for it, you know.
Yep.
It's like they're all like, senior age or like, just too busy with what they're doing, but when they see young guys just still
Support
like
it.
just not your average like 25-year-old.
I'm going to see all the young guys playing basketball. I don't know how I'm going to keep up with them.
But I think that's what they really support. It's just the young people just going for it and just supporting.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Make a difference, making an impact to the community. We thank T and Johnson for joining us. Pleasure
Thank you
to
very
have you
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. And
awesome.
for those who would like to follow their group, go to Make a Difference Foundation on Facebook. Thank you also, Lynn, who's my
It's been my pleasure.
long lost sister. It's great to see you again. We've got a lot to catch up on.
From a parallel dimension.
We will see your next edition on the Health and Lifestyle Talk Show, plus Talking Deep. Wishing you great health and peace.
Thank you. Yes. Peace.
Okay.